ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਸੂਰਾ ਸੋ ਪਹਿਚਾਨੀਏ ਜੋ ਲੜੇ ਦੀਨ ਕੇ ਹੇਤ ਪੁਰਜਾ ਕੱਟ ਮਰੇ ਕਬੂ ਨਾ ਛਾੜੇ ਖੇਤ. This is a shabad from Bhagat Kabir Ji's Bani. A spiritual hero is one who fights for those in need. He is the guardian of the weak, the protector of the helpless. He may be cut apart piece by piece, but he never leaves the battlefield, and he never abandons his pursuit for righteousness. The embodiment of this description is none other than Hindadi Chadar, the 9th Guru, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. During this period in history, Aurangzeb, who was the Mughal emperor of the time, launched a statewide campaign of religious persecution. One had to convert to Islam or had to face death. There was no in between, there were no other options. It was a top to bottom approach which started with the Kashmiri Pandits. They were a scholarly, respected class amongst the Hindus. If they followed, all other people would also convert. It is said that 47 kilograms of the Janot, the holy thread worn by the Hindus, was collected every single day. When all other means failed, the Kashmiri Pandits resorted to fasting and praying in an attempt to invoke Shivji. They were told, after days and weeks, that in the age of Kali Yuga, when spirituality is at its lowest and sin is at its highest, the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is their only help. And during this time, the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji was in Anandpur, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji was in the form of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. So, 500 Brahmins, led by Kirpa Ram, came to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in Anandpur Sahib. They recounted their situation and asked for assistance, for the help of a holy saint who could figure out their troubles. That is when a young Govind Rai asked, "Who is holier than you in this age of ignorance? They have asked for a sacrifice and you must help them, no matter what the cost is." Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was extremely pleased with his son's response and his son's thinking. That is when he made his decision official. He told the Hindus, if they could convert him, only then they could force Islam upon the other Hindus. Soon later, Guru Sahib Ji arrived at Chandni Chowk. They were presented with two options, as expected, either to convert to Islam or to face death. To further demoralize and intimidate the Guru, 3 of his closest companions were made shaheed right in front of his eyes. Bhai Dayala Ji was boiled alive, Bhai Satidas was burned alive, and Bhai Matidas was sawed in half. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji also refused to convert, and they were beheaded. The Guruji and all 3 Gursikhs remained unwavering. They embraced Shahidi with no hesitation or no second thoughts. In Pachitra Natak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji wrote, "Taram het sakka jan kiya, sees diya par sir nahi diya." For the sake of dharma, righteousness, he sacrificed himself, remaining uncompromising in his principles. But the Shahidi story was not the end. Rather, it was a beginning. It was a wake-up call to fight oppression, resist tyranny, and fight injustice for centuries to come, which would inspire generations of Sikhs. He taught us that we must stand up for what is right, even if it requires going through personal hardships and sacrifice. During the 1980s, Punjab was in a state of political turmoil. Many Sikhs were killed, arrested, and beaten without evidence for what they did wrong. Gursikhs such as Sant Jarnail Singh Ji, General Subheg Singh Ji, and Bhai Amrik Singh Ji led the resistance. They became shaheed when the event culminated in Operation Blue Star, the attack on Harmandir Sahib in 1984. Just as Guruji gave up his cease, countless Sikhs during this dark time in Sikh history, sacrificed to keep our faith, our identity, our loyalty, and our rights intact. Similarly, I think about the farmers' protest, which is only a couple of years ago. Government laws threatened job security, and thousands of these farmers banded together in Delhi. They faced harassment from the police. They even had to work through tear gas. But did any of them leave? No. They stayed there for 1 entire year and refused to leave until their demands were fulfilled. Just as Guruji refused to convert for the sake of the Pandits, these farmers stayed there and remained devoted, unwavering, and steadfast in their beliefs and values. Tyranny can also exist on a smaller scale too. It doesn't have to be on the societal scale or a national scale. It can be in the school, it can be in your community, it can be in the workplace. It happens whenever and wherever your thoughts and beliefs are compromised. It may seem easier to remain silent during these moments, but that is not what Guru Sahib Ji taught us. We must remain steadfast in our values and speak up, even if it is a harder thing to do, which it often is. To protect what is true and just, we must cross an uncomfortable path. I want to share a Shabad from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, which captures the essence of resistance itself. Jo to prem khalin ka chao, sirtar tari gari mariyo. Et marig par tarije, sir dije kaun na kije. If you wish to play this game of love with me, step onto my path. When you place your feet onto the path, do not pay attention to any public opinion. This is how resistance is done. You must neglect everything else. Focus solely on your beliefs, your values, and what you hold closest to your heart. Otherwise, it will not be possible. And as long as Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's teachings resonate with us, tyranny will continue to be fought against. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.